Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Because we broadcasting now worldwide, and because of the variation in time, depending on what part of the world you're there. So now I make would greet everybody as good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, because we know say you get for falling into one of them category there, regardless of whether you there. Also, we want and welcome to we broadcast of July 16th, today Sunday. So we just want for remind we listeners them that this now interactive broadcasting and it's done live, and people have the ability to listen, send in commentaries or comments, as well as call in and voice their opinion or their objection or whatever they may have in mind. I don't go over the rules anymore, the rules of common courtesy or mutual courtesy. That's all we require. Respect the host and fellow callers, and in turn, we expect whoever calls for return the gesture. So that said, let me just move on to where other basic rules then. We get certain numbers, we always broadcast to the public in terms of how for reach we. So we start off with a toll-free number, 1-866-944-7722, 1-866-944-7722. That's a toll-free number. If you're calling from the UK, it will be plus the sign, plus the plus sign, 44 2080 891455. Again, calling from the UK is plus 44 2080 891455. If you're calling from Australia, it will be plus 61 29 09 84 337. From Australia, plus 61 29 09 84 337. If you're calling on WhatsApp, it will be 1-343 997 5828. 1-343 997 5828. In addition to that, we're being carried on YouTube, Instagram, WhatsApp, and other medium. So please feel free for check all them areas there what they talk about. Okay. Now, my co-host, of course, is very well known. He joins us on the program from England, Mr. Victor Mengot. He will be on shortly. So when he come on, as usual, as for common practice, he will introduce himself. So with that said, let me just move on to what we're going to be discussing today. We are going to be discussing the future of democracy in Sierra Leone, if in fact democracy has a future. And we are not going to do this to put blame at the feet of anyone, because there is plenty of blame to carry around from the previous governments. But it's a matter of where do we go from here? How do we engage in progressive ideas for improved democracy? So that now we main concern. We want to be able for discuss the three arms of government, the judiciary, the legislature or parliament, and the executive, which is the presidency, and in cabinet. We want to be able to discuss that, and we want to be able to get as many contribution of ideas from people who may be listening, because this is our country. Again, like I always can say, it's not enough to be an APC or SAPP supporter or C4C or any other party. That does no good to the country. What is important is to come up with ideas and then for be willing to accept shortcomings of various political parties them. As I always say, APC, you see, there's a reason why people create records. There's a reason why in this world where we're there, if you're a good person or bad person, if you're a person of untrustworthiness, or you're a person who can be trusted, we all try to live a life that we want people and for judge we by. So it don't make any sense if you're known to be unreliable, if you're known to be untrustworthy, if you're known to be dishonest, then you want people for ignore all them character traits then they, or then character flaws then they, and then treat you as if you are holier than thou. So the reason why I'm saying this at the latest preamble is because of APC and SAPP. For some reason, the vast majority of we in Sierra Leone, and let put yourself in different categories. It's easy for understand and forgive the man when not go back to school, where to engage in a daily bread, where they get for grab the money and hustle, where not see no end in the no light at the end of the tunnel. It's easy for understand that person there if that person they say, hey, I go put my life on the line for APC. I go put my life on the line for SAPP. You know, I born na APC, I born na SAPP. SAPP can do no wrong. APC can. As wrong as these people may be, I go give them a pass in the sense that they may not really have taken the time to see how hurtful these two political parties have been to them in particular and to the country in general. But that's why we get record. These are two political parties since 1961. They have been the only two parties, other than military interventions, that have really ruled the country. Why don't we go back and take a look at the records and see how well they've served us? Why are we so reluctant we can't have it both ways. Either we accept the shortcomings of our political parties, we accept them as they are. If they starve we to death, let them starve we to death because we love them. Or we criticize them and refuse for putting the power when we know say them deliberately, they ignore what it takes for make our lives better than the country. I do not understand how people can be so blind to their own interest. You know, people see wrong only in terms of or in light of who is committing the wrong. If the APC in a power, then they do wrong things. SAPP go highlight the wrongs. SAPP supporters then go highlight the wrongs. But the same wrongs that's being done by SAPP people, they're not going to highlight them. I thought wrong or evil or any irresponsible acts come with one meaning, and no matter whether they perpetuate the wrong. But so what we are doing now, we have to do some harm, we contribute to the country in deplorable condition. Okay? So now me just try for ask everybody who they listen to William broadcast to please just rise, try your best, open your eyes, rise above tribalism, rise above sectionalism, rise above partisanship. Just try for analyze for yourself because of simple questions. Are you better off under a certain party than another party? If so, then stick with that. Now, in fact, it looks like we're beginning to get calls very early. So let me go ahead and take a call. I don't want to keep somebody holding, and we'll continue. Hello, caller. What's your name? Now, you the echo. You the echo. So, cut what you get off. So we will hear you. We're not hear you clearly. Cut you radio.
This is a concerned citizen from Texas.
Okay, good, nice.
Hello.
Nice to hear from you. Yeah, hello. We hear you clearly now.
Concerned citizen from Houston, Texas. Can
Okay,
you hear me? Una de hear me?
very clearly, very clearly.
Okay. Okay. I call concerned citizen from Houston, Texas.
Okay, I assume Sierra Leonean citizen, not American citizen, right? Or both?
No, it's Sierra Leone's. American citizen, Sierra Leone citizen, both.
Okay. Okay. Welcome. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I say una all thank you. Who na the bring all them program, yeah. Okay, me, I don't even know who side for starts. Right now, me has to bleed inside. Me
Well,
na,
take it
me
easy.
na, me na, Mende, me
Okay.
entire family na Mende mu me age. Go Mende yele bu hu me. Me entire
Okay.
family na Mende. But this particular government, what are they against? That is killing me. I they cry every day. I they cry for me family. They under the kind of killing when they happen at Salo. I don't let them. I don't let them today. I don't let them tomorrow. I don't know. Yeah, I don't bring all me picking and come. All me picking and a citizen. I don't bring me mama. I don't bring me entire family. I don't bring me husband, me entire family. Then there. But the poor innocent people that where they lost their life every day, every blessed day. No freedom of speech, not in the country. It's not right. Me not to APC, me not to SLPP. The last time na Yom Kela na we been there for an up and down. Day in, day out. Where I see say APC or SLPP, they not been there do best. I go to Yom Kela. Now we been there inside America, yeah. Now we there na chest. Now we been there do everything. But this PNSM now, what see me they see. Even with people that are village, then they call and they cry. Enough fine, enough fine. No justice. Mohammed Kone, they need for indict him. Seriously. Kone, they need for indict him. It's not good for that country. Me heart, when see how they talk so now, they cry. They cry deep down me heart. They cry, no justice, not in the country. I not go blame APC there. If they say they're not going to parliament, I know they blame them. Me grandpa, now strong person, me they be a manapaka. Then they put in jail every day, pass to they go pull out. They talk pana, hey grandpa, come on be SLPP, come on be in this politics. You say me grandpiki, let's say if I die. Hey, me body they force na SLPP. Me entire family na SLPP. But this SLPP, yeah, they are not saying una lie, yeah. They are not saying una lie. Me has to bleed inside. No justice. Freedom of speech not there. With people then they die, they fall, then they kill people then. Now that's someone they say una yeah, una thank you so much for the program. Una thank you. Na cry the pan so for me people there. Bye.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much, caller. We appreciate you listening and calling and contributing. So we hope you will continue for listening and tell other people about the program. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Going back, well, my co-host is back on board. I'd be say go introduce himself when he come. So, Mr. Mengot, can you introduce yourself, please?
Well, family, good evening. This is Mina Victor Akumengot, the co-host for this program, coming to you live from Surrey in the UK. And as usual, I join me lead presenter for come up with issues that relate to governance, parliamentary affairs, and things to do with some of the institutional functioning of the various government ministries and departmental agencies. So I'm glad to be back. Sorry, last didn't join of challenges, but I'm here again to enlighten you and learn from you, and you said to learn from me. So that's what I have to share with you today.
Okay. Now, make a bit highlights to when I say generally, we're going to talk about the challenges for Sierra Leone's democracy and the functions of the three main arms of government, when at the legislature, when at what we call commonly parliament, the executive, when at the presidency and the president in office, and of course the judiciary, which is supposedly headed by the Chief Justice. But before we do that, we get some concerning we'll get one or two things that we want to highlight. One thing we want to highlight, now a comment by a very prominent lawyer in Sierra Leone by the name of Baptiste Michael. I will ask the control room for put them now. The screen, let people read them for themselves. And that in comments there, or that in observation there, by Miss Basita Michael, it encompasses, it round up everything we think, say, in a nutshell, nothing wrong with the country. It says Sierra Leone finds itself in a dire situation, leaving many to rely solely on prayers for a better future. The government's unwavering arrogance and inefficiency, the disorganization and ineffectiveness within the opposition, intellectually dishonest civil society members focused on self-interest, and the international community's selective attention to election fraud, while overlooking governance lapses, contributes to the disillusionment felt by many people. So the woman not left anything out at all. That entails everything. And then he said, regrettably, they fail to acknowledge the erosion of fundamental preconditions necessary for democracy, peace, and stability. Over time, they have prioritized self-preservation at the expense of supporting free and fair elections, the rule of law, and human rights. The recent polls merely serve as the latest example of democratic regression perpetuated by the collective failure. Meanwhile, the ruling elite continues with business as usual, seemingly unaffected by the injustices, deprivation, and suffering endured by most Sierra Leoneans. So this cover, in a nutshell, watching the country to go on. So she went for both parties, that the current government, they engage in business as usual, not looking out for the country, but looking out for the people. I'm not looking out for the people, but looking out for themselves. The opposition, there are many, many instances when opposition would talk now, generally we will say the opposition, although there are so many other small political parties, but we're talking about APC mainly. And then we find out for, say, like she used the word ineffective. There is no doubt that APC, then very ineffective, because there are so many things they could have done, they should have done, but they haven't done. And this is what I always criticize. You know, if we are serious about justice, you don't wait until injustice arrives at your doorstep before you begin push or promote justice. You promote justice where you don't even need to, where you don't need to get the need for. Because, like they say, a threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So that's the reason why when we see injustice, we call it as it is. We call it like it is. We cannot wait until it falls on our doorstep, because when it falls on our doorstep, we'll not get much what we're able to do. I always use the Camaremba case, and I always qualify that I don't know Camaremba. I don't even know which political party he was in. But I do know, say, that man there has suffered at the hands of Sierra Leone government, particularly the two branches of the executive and the judiciary. It's hard for any of we to understand how a man can be locked up on the assumption that he committed rape, of which he get a lot of defense, say in a marriage, what you call some TT under statutory rape law. Because if we go by statutory rape, where we just implement now, we got in our country, we don't even understand what statutory rape means. I mean, statutory rape, now where you get sex with somebody where he's so young that, you know, he lack the mental capacity for give consent. You go get sex with a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, a 12-year-old. The law presumes that she's much too young and brain not that developed for give you consent. Even if you say yes, he allow you to get sex with him, the law consider that rape. But we also get what you call a conflict of laws in our country, because we get tribes them where they married young titi them at that age day. So instead of we try for deal with the issue, try for probably spread it across for say, listen, let the people know that starting from now on, you cannot marry a person below a certain age. Number one. And even if they say the parent and consent, because the parent, not to then they go into the marriage, now the person wouldn't they consent for. They cannot compromise them picking in civil and constitutional right. But instead of we lay that foundation there and try for make the law comprehensive, we use them as a political instrument for oppress one particular individual who may or may not be saying something unpopular about the government. Why is the judiciary so inept that they cannot grant this man bail, that he almost died in a prison? And then I'm saying all of this, where was the opposition? Where was APC? They never, that should have been a rallying cry. That should have been a rallying cry. Every day that should have been like a song. Go after the Chief Justice and the judiciary and the system. If they say he was not, because why should anybody who is not part of the judiciary has the power to dictate the detention of anyone, which in this particular case, then say it came from powers from above the Chief Justice. Is this the kind of country we want for run? And I always cite that case there because it's chilling. It creates chilling effect that somebody in a position of power can just decide, sit and arrest you and lock you up. And then the judges went along with that. They don't see the injustice in that process there. And then the lawyers succumb to that by going to court without challenging the injustice of itself in that particular circumstance there. And then trying to ruin somebody in life. And we think, say, that will come back and bite other people. This is what we're seeing. We don't learn some book. We will say we're not professionals. We need to begin look at the broader ramifications of things when we see wrong. When we see wrong, we call wrong. You're not going to be wrong to APC member, wrong to SFPP member, wrong to any tribe is wrong. Like what that woman called just now, they talk about killings. Well, there are a lot of people who have been victims of killings. Some of whom are SFPP people. We've seen people's properties up country who they're not tell you much of, where you support another party, then they go destroy your property. Then they even hurt you, then they beat you. You know, so, and these are people who are of the same tribe, same region and everything. We don't see much of that. We see even instances in which after the elections were over, or the presidential election was over, people then go to marketplace, certain hoodlums, I call them, presumably party supporters, were going around kicking and destroying people in the market. You know? Why should we have a system? Is this a system because you're a party member, you forget the power for destroy somebody in life, for destroy somebody in property, for beat somebody? Why can't we create a country of laws and let we all decide for support and obey the law? But if government in power, and this goes for other governments, I can go all the way back to Sir Albert, Shaka Stephen. That has been the pattern. We country know the very government way for enforce the law, and the government they break the law, thereby leading everybody else to break the law. So there are a lot of things we get for talk about. So I'm just giving them preamble there, just so people can go understand for say, we are not going to get the Australian what we need if we know how to deal with the foundations, the fundamental things them. Okay? I will try to pass them over to Mr. Mengot Mikos, but make her answer one more call. Then I will hand it over. Hello, caller. What's your name? Who say the call from? Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. What's your name? Who say the call from? Okay, Mr. Mengot, let I pass it over to you. I think we
Is the
lost the
caller
call.
still on?
No.
Okay. Now, I want to go back to waiting this lady, Basita Michael, who is a lawyer, waiting he say. And for let people know who than this lady, she was the head of the Bar Association and Salon before in term done, other person take over. And the Bar Association, now the professional body where they regulate the activities of the one the way they perform the legal profession. The lawyers them, like in England, we get difference. We get lawyers, we get solicitors. You understand? Then even within the court system, you get what you call the bench and the bar. The bench now we learned judges then, starting from the lowest rank, which is from the magistrate court to the high court, to the Supreme Court, to the appeal court. The men the way they dispense justice, they all belong to that association. What in this woman say? It talk about the breakdown in the governance system. That's where I come in because of my experience. On the one hand, you get the government, this particular government, right? And one thing I must say on this program, as my co-host can say, this particular government, every president now incendiary beneficiary. All what they do, it get legal reference. Some might say it is right, some might say it is wrong. But it get legal justification for that. He also talk about the ineffectiveness of the opposition. Who are the opposition? Of course, Fontana and Memorial will get two giants. In fact, in the whole of West Africa, I think Sierra Leone unique, where it be say the two main parties them for more get independence, 60 years, they still survive. If you go to the other African countries there, right? Even within the ECOWAS, you go Ghana, the parties that have been there since independence, they don't metamorphose, they don't change. You go Nigeria, it's the same thing. Okay, let me hold on. Let me take this caller on the line.
Hello, caller. What's your name? Who say the call from?
Hello.
Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
I'm on the line.
All right. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Good day. How are you, sir?
Good. I hope you are.
Yes, I call from Freetown.
Okay, welcome. It's always very
Yes, sir.
welcoming to have a caller from Freetown. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you. I see faces the way I can recognize. Thank you for the work you're doing. But me na possible on the salon here now for over 11 years. I returned back to Freetown or to Salon after a long spell out of the country. And I don't see waiting the happen at Salon from a perspective of somebody who there and somebody who been done there out of the country. I see the challenge for Salon democracy as the topic we the handle now. I get a lot of things for say about this, but for time, I will just truncate them and say, in Sierra Leone, we all talk about democracy, but I'm sure some of we know say democracy come in different forms. Waiting me they see with the try for practice na salon, na capitalist democracy. And I don't think we're there to practice capitalist democracy. We don't have the resource base. We don't even have the academic background as a nation for let we even begin think we for practice capitalist democracy. So I want to make sure that we not say democracy just because we see na the vogue now na the world. Whose kind democracy salon the practice? Me no hearing nothing from the political parties of waiting they want practice. All at the hearing is this party been do this party been do that. This one they do this one they do that. Nothing has been tailored so that it can be understood by the voters. My own observation in Sierra Leone is the voters, they far away from the governance mechanism where we practice in this country. By that I mean there are other elements where the voters them or the Sierra Leonean use for determine who that for lead we. Either tribal, ethno-regional, or all those kinds of things where the ordinary voter Natonia said no understand. They experience some of it, but the full understanding of those terms, they're not grasp them. So how do we talk about democracy in a country like Sierra Leone?
Okay, may I interrupt you, sir? We get 3 minutes limitation on. So
I am done. Now, I am done
no,
for
no,
now.
No. But you can call back. You can call back and take off where you left off. I just want to remind you about that. Hello, caller. What's your name and where you call from? Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I'm a concerned citizen calling from Washington, D.C.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, and welcome.
And thank you. And I want to say I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to call in. And Mr. Victor, what a brilliant man you are, Mr. Victor. I saw you once over before the election. I saw you give some analysis and history about our country. I wish and hope and pray that a lot of people, a lot of our country, or especially social media, will see your analysis and your history, because I think you are a brilliant man, you're an intelligent man, you contribute the right measure to our land. I wish we have leadership like you in our land. But to
thank you very much.
To move, indeed. And based on this, you two gentlemen, I got a couple of questions. My first question to you is, based on the Freedom of Information Act, as you understand it, do we have grounds as a Sierra Leonean, just a common Sierra Leonean, to request the data, all the data for this election? Do I have ground on that? Let me ask that first question first. I will pause and hear from you guys to see what your answers are on that first question. Then I get other things then for say, or for now, I just continue.
No, hold off. Let Mr. Mengo answer that.
Well, yes, I think say you talk about the Freedom of Information Act. What we have in Sierra Leone, which is similar, is the Right to Access Information Act, right? And we get a commissioner for where they're in charge of the right to access information. Where if I tell you, I think his name is Dr. Ibrahim Sagashaw. Waiting the act say, any citizen can request information from a ministry or a departmental agency or any arm of government, and that ministry gets a right for respond within a time limit. I think it's about 30 days. If they cannot give that information, and the reason why they not going to give the information is either border on state security or things to do with confidentiality, if now a contract between the government and the private sector, but then give for rights to the person and reply to the reason why they cannot divulge that information. Failure to do that, it is the commissioner on the right to access information which can take this particular institution to task and then supposed to provide the information. That is the answer. I think that law was 2011. So that's the straight answer to you, sir.
And if I may add quickly,
you as a citizen have a right for request that information from the ECSL and the commissioner, unless it will say, well, economically, probably in terms of cost and everything, he might not be able to provide it, but he gave information. That's what the law says.
Okay, yes, if I may add to that, also because law don't mean anything if you don't get enforcement mechanism. So in addition to that, I'm also certain that if you make such a request, the commissioner not produce or the commissioner not respond to the request, or the body to which you submit the request, they not produce them, there has to be some enforcement mechanism. And that enforcement mechanism, they go get or fall squarely with the court system. There has to be a way one has to go to court and get the judiciary for force the commissioner or whoever that may be for produce that information based upon the dictates of the law. If we not get any such enforcement mechanism, then it's a waste of time that we have such laws. Because law don't mean nothing if you cannot enforce it. And we see a breakdown of law and order because of lack of enforcement in various areas of the law, in building, codes, in all kinds of things. So I just want to add to that. So because, I mean, you can make that request, the outside, they're not going to respond because they're not going to say people can get any ability for force them. So me believe say the ability to force them now for go to court. This is where the so-called and civil groups then supposedly this is what the lawyers are there for, but we don't know how serious these people are in terms of making the enforcement here. But yeah, let's go to the next question. What you get?
Okay. Well, sir, and hence, now this point, I think as Sierra Leoneans, we must try to open that door. If we know, we will try to open the door for make sure the door itself not locked. Meaning, we need to stop for depend on this corrupt so-called civil societies that we have in our country that are not in the interest of the land, but their own agenda. We as citizens need to start challenging the system. And based on and thank you for the advice, because I request the same information to the Commission for Corruption. I requested information for them to show me how many people they have convicted and how many people they have prosecuted and how many people they have convicted. Up to today, I wait for that information. This is over 2-3 weeks ago. You see, I understand that they no go respond, but we'll go try. We'll go try. I think we country, we need to try and we need to make noise and we should never stop. I think it is upon all of us as a country, really. And part of this is I I enjoy this election because the passion what I don't see power with people them is good. Now, only if we can handle this passion into a positive direction, we will help we land. But I appreciate that, and I appreciate that. And my second question that I have, based on this
I think you're out of time. I think you're out of time. Do you mind calling back? We only allot 3 minutes.
Sure.
But you can call back,
Very
please.
well. Okay.
All right.
Very well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, caller. What's your name? Where side you call from?
Leone'S, I call from Maryland.
Oh, Abdul, welcome.
Yeah, I thank you for the program. Today I just want to give some recommendations and how we're able to come out of this quagmire. As it all centered on the 1991 Constitution, something when we done the advocate for from 1994 up to present. We always go long for the day we then go revisit the old Constitution, let them make them more democratic for modern day democracy. Having said that, one I just want give advice to the how we're able to come out of this conundrum. So I should say, I just want to give advice to the APC party. From elect for let them test the judiciary. Let me see how the judiciary go perform. This will be a test case for democracy, for election petitions, meaning that the judiciary don't set up election courts them who from see them openly where them they sit on them cases indeed and deliberate on and finally come to a logical conclusion. Now, I get some recommendations that I make. If APC if this is the time where I think them come then get then get them from card where they for bring come to the table for let them make the wrongs right. One thing where they for do now, they for call for a time frame for table a new constitution, a new progressive constitution at the House of Parliament. I think say that this will be the bargaining chip. Let them call for a time frame, and then that new constitution they forget some provisions them where go fit for modern day democracy. I feel to say this is the right time, and inside them provisions in the like when you pertain into election, it will be a consensus in choosing the chief electoral commissioner. This is not how it used to be done, wherein the president can just inform them. But this is something that will be done openly. Something that will be done openly. The person go. The so-called person will go through an interview process, open interview process where the public they see, and finally they able to get whoever they get. That's what we want, something where it will be laudable. Then whoever they get, all the political parties, and like the 70 political parties, will say, okay, yes, we all agree that this is what you want. Then secondly, where I want for let them they insist on we go do another constitution day pertaining to election. Let them get a fixed presidential and parliamentary election date. If we are getting it in September or whatever, in May, June, not necessarily in season, let's get a fixed election date. Then thirdly, what I want for let them insist on that new constitution date. Let them make sure say public servants, civil servants will resign 6 months before elections. Because you get people in the rural area, somebody they teach, you say let he resign for 1 year before elections, it will be a burden on the family. Then the seventh thing, next thing I want for let them do, let them make sure those with dual citizenship should be entitled to be elected as parliamentary members. Then the other thing I go want for let them do, the next thing I go want for let them do is next time in the tallying process, when that is the bone of contention now, that they forget big television screens now, all the regional and district tallying centers. Then, as then they input them database, for the projection at the big screens and outside the all district headquarters, all district tallying centers, all regional tallying centers. So that it will be transparent. As long as party agents can get the RRF forms, then we're able for cross-check and see that waiting in the project it correlates with
Mr. Abdul, may I interrupt you? Please hold your thoughts. Yes. I go strongly suggest that you call back so you go, because you get such good thoughts that are not likely you even and be incomplete in which you try for say. So please call we back. We'll just try to treat everybody fairly. We'll give it 3 minutes and limits. Okay? Thank you so much.
Yeah. You're welcome.
All right. Yeah, Mr. Mengo.
Okay. Now continue. Let's respond. The good thing is I like this program when I interactive. Let's start with the first caller, because when we talk about the challenges for a democracy, he talked about capitalist democracy. Yes, now breaking down the challenges for Sierra Leone's democracy, functions of the three arms of government. He talked about the capitalist democracy. For me, it will come back. But when you talk about capitalist democracy, it's a situation where we get the jungle rule, survival of the fittest. And back to the trend of my thoughts and saying Sierra Leone are the only country in the West Africa zone, be it Francophone or Anglophone or Lusophone. By Francophone, we mean French speaking. By Anglophone, we mean English speaking. Or Lusophone, we mean Portuguese. So there are 15 countries of ECOWAS. Now we're not the only country within two big players here. The APC and the SLPP as political party don't exist since independence to date, over half a century. It's quite a long time. Two people there. Then in between, we get the people of Sierra Leone. The people of Sierra Leone now, they are the people where me first caller in the talk say, and the other caller say they not even understand the option where they get for choose. So now that makes sure we talk about this challenge. We can change democracy for government. Let people understand the challenge for we government. Waiting at the issue. Then waiting Abdul say, fine, we go call him back. The man is a man who contributes a lot. But now we have what we call an impasse in our system. Waiting at this impasse. The impasse in our system, na English word, we get two sides then two beasts. The APC and the SLPP will not agree for anything. APC they tell we, SLPP they tell we say, well, yes, President Bio win. The only person who even gets the chance for announce the results. Now the ECSL Mohamed Kanedo announced the guy where they in charge, the legal man on swearing president for the next 5 years. APC they say no. Now we win, and we not agree with the way the things happen, and we not participate in governance. So now because of that APC then stance, where some of we go say, look, when they give option, my own view, it's like when we all been to go secondary school. You understand? You don't do bad in a school. Your principal tell you, say, go call your parents then. We been get some bad boy then. Yeah? Then they can go call your parents then, because the parents, they can't talk to the principal, let them agree whether for change your behavior or if they want punish you, whose punishment they go give you. We been get some rascal then where they go rent a parents. Because they know what them papa and mama stand for. Then they go rent a parent for kind of school, for can't see the principal. But that's why they bring this analogy. You as the student or the pupil, you say, well, I know they go bring me parents. Then I one option. And if you don't bring your parents, the principal will say, well, as long as you not bring your parents, you know they can't school. Then on you go choose for say, let go bring a surrogate for my parents, which is what we are doing. And in this case, if you are look at the surrogates, for can't talk this case, now this over-reliance on the international community, where the APC rely on. Yes, now they give money, that they can't observe. But if you look at all the reports the way they give about this election, it's all diplomatic speech. On the one hand, they just tell like on the one hand, and they tell we say, oh, they commend the Salon people them, the voters were very peaceful, then see where they go make to line, they exercise their democratic rights, you know. Now this what we can call the serviceman language. Bato today, moko tomorrow. When somebody they battle you, he support you. Where they moko you, they like they laugh you. You understand? They don't say on the one hand, the people are not gladdy, they don't go. Then on the same hand, they say, well, the process not been transparent. We get challenges. But they don't really tell me the challenges. Say it black and white. Do you or do you not agree with the outcome? So this over-reliance on a third party, right? Now you know problem. There are people who are arguing, oh, Sierra Leone is a sovereign country. We can do it too. Do all what it happen, it's according to the law. Nobody no go tell we waiting for can do. That's one argument. There are other people who are saying these so-called international people are our moral guarantors. Then again, you get the other people there where they say, where some of you call it, they don't talk now, the role of the civil society. What do we know about civil society? Civil society, now a group of people where they give their services for defend human rights, for make sure say resources then go to the people them, for make sure say justice then at the system, for make sure say we live peaceably among each other. But what we don't see where they suck in the civil society into the governance system. So the poor people in Sierra Leone, who did they turn to? So part of this work now, I want to talk now before the next caller. Now if I look at the main institution of governance in our country, when a parliament, and what happened this week. So let's stop there. Let you call the next caller.
Hello, caller. What's your name? Where's you call
Yes.
from?
This is Boy Jalo Jamboria from Norway.
Welcome, Mr.
I
Jamboria.
therefore call because I want to talk directly on what Mr. Mangot talk about. We are trying to downplay this issue by saying we are relying too much on international community. Yes, we have to. Back in 1988-89, I was in Sierra Leone, working in Sierra Leone, when the economy went bad and the government was almost bankrupt. We had to ask the international community to come back and assist us with structural adjustments and other principles that would put our economy back online. At that material moment, the first condition they gave was Sierra Leone should return to a multi-party democracy. That was what forced the then APC government under President Joseph Saidu Momo to seek the service of Dr. Peter Lorenzo Tucker to head a constitution review commission, which ended its task in 1990, and the draft was taken to Parliament and discussed, and on October, that became the constitution we use now. The international community may not want to interfere with our sovereignty, but they have a right to guide our sovereignty. And because they put their money in Sierra Leone, they have to put their mouth there. Because at the end of the day, if anarchy takes over the country, there will be room for terrorism and other issues that will affect them directly. Secondly, the fact that we have bad governance in countries like Sierra Leone is what is forcing the young, able-bodied population to migrate northwards. And for you, you know that. You've been in England for a long time. You know what it means when people come as illegal migrants, the strain on the economy, etc., etc. So if they have to correct that, and taking cognizance of the fact that in the Northern Hemisphere countries, you have more of older population of our age group, then they need that money to take care of their old and pension people. If we have Africa with a young population and bad governments forcing the young to come to the north, then it's not to the interest of the north. They have a right to go down there and arbitrate. We have to depend on them to arbitrate because as the situation is in Sierra Leone, everybody believes they are saying the truth, they are right. So there has to be a third party. As a trade unionist, we have in trade unionism what is called a tripartite negotiation and arbitration process. That is what we need the international community for. It's not for them to come and remove government. Let them come and investigate who is right or wrong, and if there is any way they can redo the process for everybody to be satisfied, let it be done. As a matter of fact, a similar situation developed sometime back in Namibia, and the UN went there and conducted the elections. Everybody accepted it. So please, let us don't downplay the relevance of the international community in this. Because as it is, this impasse will only be solved by neutral people. There is nobody in Sierra Leone with the moral capacity to end this. We are all hypocrites and sycophants in that country. Let us face it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jamburia. Always your contribution is very highly welcome. Hello, Mr. Mengot. You get?
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr.
Yeah,
Jamburia Jallo. Thank you very much for your contribution. But before I go, we have another caller on the line. It looks like we're very busy today. Let's get caller because we need people and feedback. Yeah, now we're waiting people and they say, and we're able to do the program. Yes, another caller on the line.
Hello, caller. What's your name? What's the call from?
Hello, Mina Abu, the call from Ireland.
Okay, Abu, welcome.
And the situation at Sierra Leone, I think say the need for change them parties, they are APC and SLPP. People that they say if you change the party are the same people then. Yes, are the same people, and but they change the mindsets of the people. And the people, their mindset you don't change. Because it's just like what you know they talk. Then party I don't do for over 50 years, over all the references the way they take, they're all politicians they are. Now all references that they carry it. So the same trend they continue again and again. And they say Cheki, we don't do this. We don't do this. The same trend they continue because the old politicians each repeat itself again and again. So whenever you change the party, you change the symbol, you change the people their mindset. You know, go tell me this is a different party. Can talk about APC or SLPP. Then go say no, that is a different party. So don't get so that reference people don't go accept them because don't the right reference. Because you don't work out APC reference or SLPP reference when a new party they exist. So people they listen to you. But then all politicians they count the references there and they put them at the table and the same thing they continue come again and again. Then they count the problem. If they change the party, they change the people their mindset. If they change, believe in me, if they cut all them, here will they go on another country day. Number two, President Bio people they talk say donor country, Salona donor country. Let me ask you, Salona donor country. Salona to donor country. Now the politician they wicked. If the politician they not wicked, Salona for able to feed himself. Now the politician and the wicked President Bio, he don't do it for 5 years. He know the debt where he take. He know the interest where he for pay. If he say, okay, now I adjust the travel, I adjust this, I adjust this. So God will go out with some. And Saloma not ask for forget to. When you see President Bio there under, he tie your job. He say now the time your job, he tie your job. Wait to God if they make him up. Saloma he go rule on for the next 50 years because Saloma get what he take. Now the politician they wicked. If you see President Bio tie in Oja, he only don't know. Salona to donor country. We get what he take. That the politician they wicked. That man they know exactly how much he take from IMF, how much he get from World Bank for the past 5 years. So he knows say if I adjust here, I don't go. And the people there never bring them together. If you put the people them together, believe in me, democracy they die. People then will vote for President Bio, they go because one, he able to put the country before without donor. This donor driving, trying to destroy that country. I don't get what he take. You don't need wicked politician there. If you get decent politician, they are afraid of God. You don't need donor. We will able to feed ourselves. We will able to but guess what? When President Bio can implement that method and then the APC they go into international community for can interrupt. And when the international community interrupts because the West man don't want to go in the right direction. Automatically, but can't change the mindset. If they still say President Bio go succeed, so God and this the international community to intervene, but make sure say because he wants to take the country into the right direction. Now this will get to understand. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for your contribution. We greatly appreciate that. I hope other callers then listen to you. Let me take another call. Hello, caller. Who's the call from?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I call from Germany.
Okay, welcome.
Hello.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah, because I listen. Yes, and listen. Just this guy will just talk. We talk about the two parties, waiting for ban. But the Western world where we live right now, some countries in the West, there are some big parties where they don't stay for how many years, like America, like Germany. You get the two main parties them. Go back, take how many years, we not get problem. So just like where this man talk from Norway, this thing we not take a light. The only solution right now, when they think say Salon we need right now, we don't get peace. Because I know say for me, no conscience, we get peace, we don't get war. The only thing, this government, therefore step down or we make new election. And also the reality also will depend on the donors. They're not going to fully. Salon don't match yourself, we don't make a right now. So let people talk say these two parties them, therefore this that. No. Even Germany now, we got a two-party, big party them, how many years? And they're up to now. So now they know nuance, Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Thank you so
very much
much
for the program. Okay.
Thank you very
much. Good program. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Bye.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Mengot.
Okay. Yeah. Let me go back to my very good friend, Mr. Boy Jalo Jamboria, the man who shoots from the hips, and say it as it is. And I will say what he said is quite in order. Because now look at the situation we're getting at the country. Right? We have a situation which we deal with immediately as a matter of urgency. The matter of urgency we'll get for deal with. Now, if we look and say, okay, let me give a statistics. Right? Because I mean, I'm always like reference. They can't put me engineering hat on. Right? Let we move from 2018 election to 2023. And let people understand the scenario. 2018 election, we didn't get a second round. Now then 2 people here. Now done. But the difference in votes in terms of percentage between Biowe win the second round, Samura Kamara win and say loss, percentage-wise, it was 1.6%. Vote number-wise, it was 91,000 difference. Now, let's take 5 years after, right? And we all see what did not happen this 5 years. My question is President Bio so popular for right now the difference in votes between A and Samora Kamara is over 7%? Because if you look at him, he was given 56.1%. I think Samora Kamara will get 44. So does that mean people are so glad for Bio and what he don't do for the country that then get this overwhelming victory? That's some food for thought, right? So it comes back to my friend Boy to say, how do we get from this issue? Because the people are in the middle, and when we talk about the people in the middle, we dey talk about these people in the country. Mami Fatu, where they sell a market na Bombay streets, where me used to be non-toxic. You no get no business from politics, so but where election done, and that same Mami Fatu in train and go kick. You don't know how you get that money there for capital for buying tomatoes, right? What does Mami Fatu understand? What does he want? You take Go Musa, we know they freedom, where they Kailon, or they upline, we a farmer, right? He want growing products. What he want? He want to growing products. He able to get away for cancel and like go get money for pay school fee for him picking them. Right? You get the other man way come on Koto Brema. Na Bombali. In self, he no concerned about them fetch how they fetch. What he wants? Now for make sure say if he didn't have small size, he get a small shop, he buy a fridge where he go to sell cold water, like get electricity with the talk about renewable energy. So the people that will they forget that the ordinary Sierra Leonean where they suffer right now. So how do we go? Agree with me, friend Boy, right? That color we talk with Sierra Leone donor country. What it mean? It mean donor dependent. Then the English word. What in a donor dependent? Where it be say we did to those spending. We're not able to meet that spending day. Because let's say individual, right? If you get your family, you na the papa na the host. You get for make sure say if na rent you get for pay. If people then get for eat, you get for give the mommy chop money for let he able to buy food for the pikin. The small thing, even though we get free quality education, certain things then they will get for pay for let pikin and go school. So if you not get that money there, you understand? You depend on somebody else for can give you that money there. That person where they can give you that money there. Now in the dictate your life. And now we extend them. The morality na salon. Now that makes so woman then they go get sweetheart. Mommy and daddy then they send the young picking and for go get man they will get money for can feed the host. So now so we country don't come. So for now get on this here, I agree with my friend Boy. Them people there where they give you money, when are the very same people that will observe the election, where they say they feel say things they not work out well. Let them come, let them not begin bring diplomatic speak. Call Pabio and in team, the president, yes, he went through the election according to the results. then swear I mean according to our constitution, call the other side where they challenge. So okay, look, can sit down. Whose kind Sierra Leone we want? How do we get through this? Yes. And let we take with society all day. Me and you will get connection with Fobe Fulaton. So somebody talk about democracy. This democracy what they practice. Now which man we borrow for? Right? Where they say, okay, in a get for form political party within our constitution, now political party get for decide whether get for be president, in a get for get people there where they go stand for parliament. All this is alien to we. We get two system of rule. Let me make people know. We been get with traditional system. If you go to the rural area, you get section chiefs them. So then section chiefs then they represent people them. So you have representation from the village, taken to the section chief, taken to the paramount chief. They don't get political party. But we respect the institutions in there. And it's still there alongside with the same one. Now we get a system we borrowed for the witchman, where we know they practice them in a way where the witchman and take hundreds of years. America done their independence over 200 years, isn't it? We didn't get independence from Britain. Britain was there so now. It will surprise some people then. From June 12, 15, the signing of the Magna Carta, when that document they will relieve the power of the kings. And we set up the parliamentary system, we would not adopt now. Almost here and there. If you take them, 14 June 1215, we are talking about over 700 years ago. And the system still not perfect. We just take it now and we borrow that system there. So if we now get that system, then people will bring that system. Let we can't sit down because with society we get big people then. Let's go to traditional way of resolving our problems. Mixed with that, because you know where you dey Fulaton, you dey Fobe, and other society them. I like for talk about Fulaton and Fobe, because na them you know. When you are married, you get godmammy and goddaddy. Why you dey get godmammy and goddaddy? Because when you get disputes, now then they go settle them. Again, when them right? The Muslim then get their own system, naming ceremony, komojade, or whatever they call it. The Christian get Christian. Then they give God mommy and God daddy way for direct you, that picking nature. So unfortunately in a salon, we're not getting God mommy and God daddy again. We not get people the way we respect when are elders. The paramount chief them, apart from freedom, way for be elders. They don't compromise. The religious leaders them, the imam them, and the pastor them, they don't compromise. The evil society them, they say don't compromise. So how do we get through? The very people that way they give you money, which is why I support Mr. Bowie, within 90 days, let us not talk about peace. Because peace is not a problem. We problem are injustice. Equal rights and injustice. So happens for now and give you time for yourself rub much and this talk small.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Now, me on everything, sometimes I get for look through the lens. All right, let me stop here.
Before you take a call, there's a caller on the line. I'll take that caller there before.
And then I will go.
Then continue. You will continue. Yeah.
Hello, caller. What's your name? Who's the call from? Hello.
Hello.
Hello, caller.
Okay.
Hello, caller. Sorry to call from.
Yes, sir. Thank you. This is not the caller we've been called from Freetong. Okay, I get the chance for call again.
Hello.
Turn your radio and keep it down. The echo. Okay. Turn your radio and keep it down.
This guy will just stop.
Okay.
We're talking about the two parties. We're going for ban. But
Okay,
Thank you,
let's
sir.
stay on the line, eh?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Let's stay on the line.
Yes, stay on the line and
Yeah,
turn
go
the
ahead.
radio
Go
off.
ahead.
So they hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Mina, the caller we've been called from Freetown earlier, where I mean they talk about the types of democracy and not being sure of waiting with the practice now. In fact, the caller we call but one mention then kind thing and they where I mean they talk about you know, when you get a country or an electorate where now seem for understand waiting na neocolonialism and not understand say most of waiting we dey see na Africa, particularly na these smaller countries wey not get the economic wherewithal for even operate as a country, you tend for put everything, all your so-called moral guarantee for non-Sierra Leoneans because they help you when you are in need. But no country not develop on those terms. Here we are in a country where with the boast of having gold and diamond for over 60 years, we don't have a single ounce of gold sitting there in the bank to support our currency. We are still following, or we are following neoliberal practices, relying on the market. Market contribute goods and services to, but they tell we rely on the market, globalize, and all of these things. All of those things are hurting us. But the voter in a salon not be able to see those kinds of things. Waiting the voter they see in a salon, he eat, in Peking they go school, we go hospital, he go get medicine at a reasonable rate. Now then thing then they see. But the mechanism what they make them thing then they short supply in the market, they're not the same. So when are we going to have leaders we will take that into cognizance? Say all what we are doing, as soon as we talk about investors, we are looking for outside. Even those who are in the country, entrepreneurs who are in the country, are grossly shortchanged. They will not be supported financially when it comes to clearances or acceptance from central government of their own ideas and their own initiative. It is rebuffed because you know they're not the party or you know the right people. These are the things which are going to be very, very difficult to clear out. So how do we begin? You cannot come and tell me my own country under whatever circumstance that I should not mine and hoard my product that would support my economy. I mean, where are we? That was happening when we had Cold War. Now, there's liberalization. You need to allow me to manage my own resources. Now, if we are not doing that, and everybody is on the wanting and demand side, I not get this, government not provide this, this not there, how are we going to plan to get our revenue into our coffers so we're able to do the thing them where politicians they promise? It is getting very, very difficult. Okay, thank you. I hope I'll come back.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hope you will call one more time before the show is over. Let me take another call. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from? Hello, caller. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mina Abdul again. I just want to continue from where I stopped. always look for proper solution instead of with the rigmarole the issue and how we will come out of this quagmire. I'll give some recommendations by million estimation how we for able to resolve this impasse. And I believe I implore the APC party. I believe, say, from the look of things, they want an independent arbiter, either within or without. Perhaps the Interreligious Council will take the lead. We all get great respect for all the Commonwealth, all the ECOWAS, all the African Union. But I feel to say African Union go left onto the regional body, ECOWAS, for take the lead, or Commonwealth. And I really want for let they all sit down and chart the way forward. And APC for insist that we forget, because not only when they inside, they insist say we forget a new constitution. When they go insist on all them provisions, what all right they mentioned, waiting for input the for level not go get a recurrence of this year in the next 5, 10, 15 years again. Another very important thing I wanted them do with them, another amendment where them get for put to that constitution. Let we not get immediate swearing in of the president elect, because you get for make room for sick redress. 2 months, 3 months, like we happen now Nigeria, and the same thing that happen in Ghana, and the same thing that happen in Kenya. We forget 3 months. So the president elect for wait for 3 months. If there is a petition, 3 months, 3 months time, they for don't address the petition and give a verdict, then before we go to swearing in. Then another one is let me get a transition act. There should be a transition act, so that we're not going to get this imbroglio where we get always when one party take over, it always and next with mix up. We'll pull them out, bring them. No, let we get the transition act. We go do things orderly. Then another recommendation we make: let all voter ballot papers be printed in the current country for minimized cost instead of doing it outside. Because sometimes there is so much suspicion. But if we all point fingers saying that this person is for print for we, then everybody go get trust in that institution. They will know the number we print, no nothing again extra. If we do that, then we'll be able to come out of this tier. And as I can rightly say, therefore, make sure say they amend the 2022 Elections Act, that all these aggregated results should be provided in all polling stations and before final results are announced. Then let the Electoral Commissioner make sure say this is the electronic age. You for make sure say you publish on the website. But up till now, 2018 results are ended. You for make sure say you publish on the website. So as you actually make the pronouncement, if we're already done there at the website. You see, these are some of the changes for me the people say. If we do that, then we'll be able to see a way forward. But anything short of that, then again, let this the government will not implement this blockchain technology. Any 18 and above, the system don't already know say this person here is not 18 and above. It go easy for let you either get person in register one time, like the register system, unless you change address. You name them permanently then at the electoral register as a voter. So if you then do that, then we'll be able to see headway in this impasse with this. So I'll stop so far. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution, sir. As always. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from?
Good afternoon. Concerned citizens calling from Washington.
Yes, go ahead.
Una, thank you again for letting me call. Una, thank you again for this opportunity to talk to Una. Actually, since Una two are very intelligent people, and based on what I don't observe from Una two, what Una they speak about now, topic them for advance our country forward. So in light of that, I would like to ask Una a question The question is, what in our advice for us young people or people we want to try for make an impact in our land? What in our advice to some of us that think that the whole system is just need to rebuild? But anyway, I will leave the floor and listen to una advice, please. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for calling. Oh, let me take another
There's
call.
another caller on the line.
Hello, caller.
We're
Which
very
one
busy
again?
today.
Let me take another. Hello, caller.
Please turn your instrument or your radio, your TV, whatever you get at home. Otherwise, the echo, turn them down.
Okay, now they get me now?
Yes, sir. Clearly, very clearly.
All right, thank you so much for the allow me for participate. My name is Ezekiel. I call from Washington. I think to me, own concern, especially I don't see a lot of people in different forums waiting they talk about for change the constitution or for change certain things, even with the Electoral Commission, the way how we vote. You know, we see the first 5 years, the ruling party not been get even outright majority, but anything we that we want, it pass. And now that then get heavy majority, how you feel say them go change anything way it favor them, like the way how the electoral process set right now? How that go be possible? You know, because as we don't see anybody within a power, it always hold on to something where if you say it is favorable, it is support the agenda, then they left them inside the books until then at the other side, the cry begin. So, if anything they change in that process, first, why we Parliament still the whole use this old archaic way of voting? The year have a, you know, what thing that they mean? Why, even if it's just a list of fingers for let a counter, why they need to do them? If they not get electronics at all for press them vote them, why? What thing they go on? Like anything where is simple for implement for with people, they need to do them. Simple vote. If that will give credibility to any parliamentarian where you want go to a constituency, say, me, I be vote for this particular thing. But how we go know? To tell where people in favor of that vote, because they favor her now, in Canada, you say I vote for her. Because we don't know. They're not even counting in finger. Now, yay. So say not be yay. But when I find thing now, it will go to a constituency, they maybe vote for her. But when we count your votes, we know say now you go able to go boast and say, me, I will vote for this particular policy, for this particular constitution. So we go hold people accountable. But then no one be accountable at all. Parliamentarians do not want to be accountable at all. So the yay, have it or the nay. So how you feel say anything where it lead to reform according to the election, for letting be separate, for letting be clear, will be done when the year they right now, their voice will be so loud, even if opposition did it. I don't know how they will able to participate in terms of going against something and win. Nothing. So then get a lot for change. Then CSF get a lot for change in the parliament. For even just the simple voting process, so that we go to see who that vote for bad thing, so that tomorrow we'll want to blame people and we will call them by name. Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. Mr. Mengot, I don't know if you want to go first. Let me give you a chance to.
Okay. I tell you what, because I always go back to when we talk about this, we talk about the challenges for our democracy. We talk about the institutions. And I can say democracy is equal to what you call how we manage with activities, governance. So I will put her in a triangle form. On the triangle form, at the top, the apex of the triangle, we get parliament. Yeah? One thing people do not understand, or they go understand, but then fail for actually take into consideration who say the main rot dey na we governance system, na parliament. And I'll tell you why. And again, the people that way come with this PR system, we say it go be good for we democracy. It go mean say smaller party, then go get seats, independent go get seats. Then people and they will come with that kind arguments there. Now we for take them to task. In fact, rather than free with parliamentarians them from the stranglehold of parties, then right now, don't strangle them and make sure say they are all robots, artificial intelligence. I'll tell you why we say why. You understand? Now we look at a system where under the current parliament system we'll get, right? Under this PR system. Let's give you an example. On the side, we go say, na the SLPP, them political based, I know call a stronghold. We call the Kailaun, the Kenema, the Bo, yeah, the Pujang. You understand? They want all the seats. So it's easy for allocate seats to people that way get the different constituency, because now we don't change the constituency. We give them constituency 101, constituency 102, constituency 103. Now, let's take a case like Freetown, Western Urban and Western Region, rural, right? Now, party list to get. So, SLPP and APC then shape seats in Putloko and Freetown, right? The MP then they select them on the district block system. How you go allocate the MP then they to constituency for look at the interests of the people? So far from bringing the people nearer to our governance system, this PR system don't actually take them away. They don't get it. Because people they vote for party. So that brings me to this case where how they open parliament, where we get the Lone Ranger, Mohamed Bagura from APC, where go say in the put country first, right? In the go against the party for let them go swear I mean. I want to ask the question, where they go swear I mean? Did they swear him in as representing a constituency within the district where he named there? Or then go swear him in as the man where represent the whole district? I don't understand. So we don't make parliament so complicated. And right now, whether we like it or not, we hold hostage because we see how they appoint the speaker. If people do not know, the speaker of the fifth parliament, Abbas Bundu, now still there. In deputy, Sengepe Thomas from the ruling party, now still there. Leader of government business, Matthew Numa, now still there. In deputy, Basiru Siliki, now still there. So, they call a majority leader. So, we go say Mohamed Bangura a minority leader. And guess what? Right now, they don't go appoint the speaker. Right? Parliament will adjourn till next Tuesday. And when they come back, waiting there for happen, we come back to, I go end there, we'll talk about that. We come to the third arm of government, we are the executive. We just see President Dio don't complete in cabinet. We now have 34 cabinet ministers and 29 deputy. So we are talking about 63 ministers and deputy ministers, right? And all the 63 then get for go to Parliament for approval according to the law. And the process is we get a public appointments committee when they force for interview them, give a report before they go to the full Parliament for let them vote them in. What do you think will happen? Which one of their MP then they go decide say this particular politician or minister not fit for a particular office where President Bio Naido appoint him? So you get a system now where the Parliament has no power because they are controlled by the executive. The executive get complete control over the judiciary. So it's a case of things fall apart and the center cannot hold. So that is the problem of our governance. So now left and day and give for comment and some of them say, if we not fix with Parliament, allow make one point clear. We get a way out. Right? Under Parliament, like give people one thing where I think say they don't know. When they don't set the committee, we get a committee where they call a public petition committee. Where for test the role of Parliament. No left hand at the end of the politician. We need champions them within the society. We go galvanize the public. Just like how you vote. Get signatures, thumbprint, and if we able get 1 million people, we go petition Parliament. Let's see, say waiting the happen at the country we don't want them. Let's see how the parliamentarian they go react. That's a fallback position. The Public Petitions Committee provision then our Parliament for that. Not left and so, because I don't be waiting the Frenchman called agent provocateur, which means I don't bring a new kind of worms. Because the Constitution says sovereignty belongs to the people. But if the people do not know how to exercise that sovereignty, then I'm afraid we will continue the same way. So now left and let you comment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mengot. Again, the callers then today, they make some very interesting observations. Some of them sound very pessimistic, meaning that, well, they don't see no hope for the future. But I always see hope. And
okay, before you go, then I ask you to go, Lord, take one more call, then we can the next 15 minutes analyze. There's one more call from the control room.
Okay, yes, we can. We may. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from?
Yeah, yes, I'm back, sir. All you talk so the two talk just right now. Yeah, you may be right, but the only way I want to see, the only thing we need right now, Salon, right now, just now, we need this government for step down or a new election. Now that's no more I want to see. Now the only solution right now we'll get. No other thing again right now. Now the only thing right now we need right now, Salon. Either this government step down, this president, or a new election. Now no more right now we need it. Yeah. Daniel na my own mind, we Jamamansi, opinion.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you
very much, sir.
All right. And going back to what I was about to say, in responding to all the callers then, you see, we ask ourselves one question: how did we get here? How we managed to get to this situation we now today we try to get out of. We get to go dig back into we history, and there we see every government from Albert Magain to the current government have been contributors to the malaise what we complain about. If we want to go forward, so somebody even call and ask, say, why will President Bio, with all the power we get, why will he even want to try to make things work objectively? Well, to me, my answer to that would be the true test of leadership, because he is the leader of the country. Now, this is what we keep saying. If you are a true leader, you look at what is good for the country and you people, not what is good for the political party to which you belong or what is good for you personally. A good leader, and President Bio is very secure because he has no basis to be financially, emotionally, psychologically insecure because his future is set. You know, as current president, he draws a very hefty salary. You know, the law protects him, which is good because this is one stability in our country. When he's out, he still will be secured. He will get very hefty income, bodyguards. So this is a good thing. So I say all of this in terms of if this President Biona, the right man, for take matters into in hand and try for implement certain things that are not necessarily advantageous to him or his SLPP party, but that are good for the country. This is the thing. It's about time that we get leader. So a true leader is going to do what it takes for put Sierra Leone on the map, for get we back to where we are on the road again, and for make sure say we accomplish what we set out to do. So now we get what you call a Public Election Act of 2022. It was just 1 year ago where Sierra Leone Parliament passed them under President Bio. Okay, although the Parliament really, I don't want for even mix up things because the President should have nothing to do with the passing of bills in the Parliament, and the Speaker in the Parliament. But I would say, just pass them just a year ago. And this Public Order Act, APC, the claim said there were several violations by Mr. Kone in terms of the requirements and some of the demands of that act day. But they made protest. I don't know if they take the matter to court. If they take the matter to court, I don't know if they'll decide. But one thing I know for sure, the counting of the election result, and people need to go back to the Public Election Act of 2022. There is a formula dictated by the law as to how to go about to count. Why hasn't anyone asked Mr. Kone to date how it came about the 11.9% formula or method where he adopt for do the counting? Because that not seem to be consistent with the requirements of the Public Election Act. These are some of the things,
Just,
not to wait for the...
Your thoughts here.
Go ahead.
Let me just explain to people them how it gets that 11.9, because it's very important. Because that will show you how we get there.
Okay.
If you remember, me and you don't talk on this platform, but this midterm census, right? We know our case. One, when he get the midterm, the reason they say they want to do the midterm census, now for say they want to correct the wrongs of the 2017 census, which they didn't accept. They said it was flawed. Because why? The other side be used for create two districts, which is Calabar and the other one. So they say they go do their own. But when they do them, they will tell people they out and get this formula. Mr. Conan and his team na real Albert Einstein. You understand? Then take the figures them from their own census, the midterm census, the aggregate figures. Take the one from the very census where they condemn, average, and get the number of voters per district. Right? So you don't condemn one thing, but use them, forget average. Then waiting and do, you get that number there per district, then you divide them by the 16, right? And find the percentage. 16 mean there are 16 different areas them, districts them. We include the other one them, plus Western urban and Western rural. And then find the percentage. So you count this magical figure, 11.9%. We don't mean nothing to anybody. So now you get that 11.9%. Where they already argue say it they against waiting day now the elections act. So let hold on that. So let people understand how we get
and that's the issue. The issue is pretty simple. Normally, when you go to court, there is a statement usually made where before the court, and the question presented before the court is blah, blah, blah. So the formula used by Mr. Kone, was it consistent with the dictates of the Public Election Act, or was it contrary? If it was a contravention, if you go against switching and you see, sometimes this is the thing again about drafting of laws. It may very well be that the Public Election Act was so vague that it gave Mr. Kone this room for do as he did. But only a court can determine that. Only the lawyers have to go to court and argue the incident. So the question to have been presented in court, if the APC had gone to court, was the formula used by Mr. Kone was that allowed by the Act? Unless we try to do everything within the framework of the law, we will never get anywhere, because we cannot leave so much discretionary power in the hands of appointees, in the hands of the president. We have to get specific or specificity in the laws. Let we try for make sure say the laws are not as vague. So if indeed, as Mr. Mengot just described, now so Mr. Kone reached in 11.9, did the law allow him to use such combination of formulas to have arrived? Or maybe the law was so vague that he could do whatever he pleased? Well, so these are some of the things. This is why we have court system. And this is the reason why it is the duty of the government to strengthen the law in every country. Because we get a body what we rely on, what we trust, what we go to for complaint. And like where you there, you get family. Where you and your wife get plaba, you and your husband get plaba, or disputes among elders, there are always trusted people in the community that we have to go to, whose respect we value. Now we have a country where the judicial system that is supposed to be a separate, distinct, co-equal branch of government doesn't trusted, nor carry the trust where the people are supposed to forget. So it is the duty again of the president. If he want democracy for work, if he want the country for work, now aim for make sure say the judiciary get the independence. And you are not going to get a system where a president can appoint and fire chief justice or judges. We can't. If we maintain a system like that, we will never go further. Anybody with kind of power will misuse the power. So the thing is, we need for somebody even call somebody. I mean, there are so many things wrong we can touch on. Somebody call. We say one of the recommendations now for let voter ID be printed in the country. That's a matter of common sense. Would it print with driver's license? Would it print with national ID? What is the first of all? Some of we don't argue say voter ID wasn't necessary. If you get national ID card, if you get driver's license, those are enough identification for you for present to vote. But let's assume say a voter ID card come into play. The genesis now corruption. Look how they went about the voter ID. The voter ID supposedly was printed abroad, in Turkey or in Greece. Then they say the voter ID was printed by a private company, of which you have to have a Sierra Leonean partner, a silent partner. So right there you have corruption. So the motive was not to make sure say we'll get an efficient electoral process. The motive was to make money. And then they found the cheapest possible way. Everything was done substandard. Well, there was a lot of complaint about all the quality of the pictures on the voter ID. Again, I just wonder, why didn't the opposition go to court? I don't see us taking much advantage by the court system. Instead, they're too busy to talk about some horse where they're selling in New York. We not seem to forget any relevance to anything or to governance in the country today. You know? So these are some of the frustrating things. So now we end up with the voter's ID, where sometimes you cannot even tell whether I'm pictured in anything, where somebody probably don't make hundreds of thousands, if not millions out of, where they even get enough for tell the country, say, and the voter ID were coming from Greece, and they will be flown on 2 separate chartered jets. Just a piece of paper, cards in boxes. They can forget chartered jet for fly them in. You see the corruption? So these are the things we talk about. This is money being wasted. Because that private jet day, not another deal. We said in the go range that person they charge high because the government get for pay. So 10 days because they get for getting kickback. This is the private jet. The partnership between the Sierra Leonean with the print voter ID, because if you look at it, it don't make sense. I mean, we had a government, we get government print in office, with the print we own driver's license, we can print we own voter ID. But these are some of the things a serious government will have to stop, because anybody who know anything can see say, now corruption, now the motive now, everything is about making money. Not waiting good for the country. You will get employees them. Even this election, people that were now polling agents, people hired by the government, some of them still haven't been paid. So really, we are talking serious business in the sense that if we want to propose something for our country go forward, you know, nobody is against the gentleman called for say a President Bio for resign or something. That's not practical. Is, you know, so not a practical suggestion, and he's not going to step down and he's not going to resign. So let's just move forward with some realistic guidelines. But we have to try to straighten things out. Every government cannot get, Mr. Mengot mentioned just now about where APC then take the 2017 census, where SLPP kind of power, because they were dissatisfied with the outcome of the census, SLPP decided for a midterm election census. But here is what is wrong, as I have always criticized. The Constitution says census shall be taken once every 10 years. No other law for contravene that requirement today. I think one thing we need to understand as Sierra Leone, Parliament is not above the Constitution. Parliament can pass no laws that are in contravention of the Constitution. So when Parliament come and pass a law, say the President can ask for a midterm census, that's illegal. Parliament not get the power. Parliament not get the authority for pass such a law. But these things should be tested in the courts. They should be argued by people who know something about constitutional law. You cannot have the Constitution demanding one thing, and then you get statutory law that is a much subordinate law overriding the Constitution. So what is the point in having a 10-year requirement censorship if Parliament can just pass any law anytime for override what's in the Constitution? So these are some of the things we get to deal with. So now SLPP come, they get the president for do their own midterm census, which is illegal. it's unconstitutional because the Constitution already demand that it be done once every 10 years. Then the disadvantage on what the APC do, then kind of establish 2 more districts or 3 more districts for getting self-advantage. All of these have to be stopped. Because giving APC advantage or giving SFPP, all the person where they suffer or the end result and the country they suffer. So we just get to look at them things there if one begin. But hey, or we can stick to the level of just passing laws we're good for we party, not for the country. Then we'll keep going round and round and round and round, and we will keep dropping to the bottom. I need not remind people that how far down we are. And somebody that when they talk about do no country, not do no country, there are a lot of things we can do for ourselves, but we can't forget the fundamentals straight. These are some of the things. There are a lot of things we can talk about. But the legal system, I believe, says some of these things should be tested. Even if we get a weak judiciary, go to court. One of the most efficient, active person right now in Sierra Leone, in terms of using the legal system, like Charles Magai. I think the APC will be well advised for the consult with them. Because you may not trust the system, but now the system that they designated to deal with any kind of dispute here. No waive any rights, so we're not going to court. Or when I waive that rights, they will not lose them forever. You know? So there are many other things, comments man can make, but we're almost out of time. So let me just stop there and see if me colleague and co-host get something else for say.
Well, Fambulem, first of all, I got to say thank you very much to all we callers them, and we come with some brilliant ideas. Some we might agree with, some we might not agree with. And as my co-host always say, reasonable men do differ. We are the presenters and even the viewers, we don't hold any particular view. One of the things we are here as old men and experienced, because I can say between the two of us, we career don't span almost a century. You don't get half a century experience in the legal field. Me say don't get half a century experience in governance. So we are giving you guys 100 years experience. So we don't hold any particular view. But we also want to thank the people that will contribute to our Facebook page, albeit some of them support one side, some of them not support the other side. Some people, they say, now then they cry foul. We don't cry foul, right? We are here to direct the people. Another thing, somebody say, well, I talk about public petition and say, if them people that want to do public petition, then go jail them. So it go back to my pet project, which is our parliament. We don't see what happen at the new parliament, the 6th parliament. We get the same old speaker, the right honorable as in King Column, although not the wrong use of the time. Because right honorable in England, when I do borrow the time, is only used by people from the Privy Council. Then the one the way they advise the Queen on the law. But we they use all kind of title. Title don't become obsession. We don't get ambassador. And again, President Bio don't appoint a new cabinet with a say some youthful people there. We see some brilliant CVs. I mean, I cannot tell the number of people that will go Harvard, we work national. They are impressive, young men. But one thing I will always say, one of the problems in our society now this obsession with paper qualification and connection to certain institutions. At the end of the day, for Roundup, we thank you all very much, but it go back to what I say, that unless we look at the ordinary man, we go get justice. That man where they go police station, they go for go give statement, they say like bring paper and pen. The man where they go complain about the landlord come, he can't give contract statement, they lock him up. You where they buy you land, where they fetch for 10 years, especially with people in a diaspora, when a 3 man hold the land. until we get our institutions right. And we dey watch or see parliaments they come. The next stage in parliament this week can and then appointment the way they go appoint. Then next week we go able to talk about this governance system. For God's sake, a country like Sierra Leone with 7.5 million people forget 63 ministers. That include the minister and the deputy. What does that mean? With lofty titles. We see say the longer minister for communication, technology and innovation. When I split of the Ministry of Communication. Now we don't get Ministry of Information and Communication, they don't split, and the other side now Ministry of Information and Civic Education. So with all these lofty titles and lofty things, we look forward to analyzing the governance system, especially the executive. And once more, not taking a time, we don't go over time. We thank you very much. Have a blessed week. And as a transport man and a man passionate about road safety, stay safe. Let your journey be accident free. And we look forward to joining us next week. Me, Namide say tata on behalf of viewers Sierra Leone.